Warning, the following images you are about to see were not drawn by a third grader and may cause mild headaches, heart failure, and/or melting eyeballs. Viewer discretion is advised.
So now that I was rocking full rune with an Addy plate, it was time to get down to business and get cracking on this Dragon Slayer quest. After many countless epic quests involving demons, ghosts, chickens, and cake, it was time to take on the hardest quest in all of RuneScape, or at least I thought it was back in the day. At this point, I could still only use Addy weapons, and I figured there was no way I was going to defeat this epicness of a quest with them, so I trained my attack and strength up to 40. So pretty much every combat stat now was level 40, and I was around level 40 combat. I even went as far as to look up Elvarg's weaknesses and found that dragons were weak to stab, so I grabbed myself a rune sword so I could use stab with it. So I got all my quest items that I needed to complete the quest, and then I went and talked to the champion guild master guy and started the quest. I headed to Lumbridge and grabbed myself an anti-dragon fire shield, then I went and talked to Oziak and ran all the typical bullshit errands, you know, the typical drill with quests, and I got to my first battle with Melzar the Mad. Now, being a 14-year-old kid, this guy freaked me the fuck out with all of his cabbage stew bullshit. This guy was a cakewalk, but it was the lesser demon that was the issue. Now, I don't know if it's my mind playing tricks on me, but in my memory, I remember this lesser demon being like the size of Krill to Sephiroth. Like, I'm not even sure if it's actually that size, and it might be the same size as a normal lesser demon, but this is just what I remember of it. So after I killed the demon, I got all of the map pieces, and then it was time for the battle of the century. James versus Elvarg. I restocked my food, grabbed a strength potion, and also runes to teleport out in case if I needed to. After that, I took the boat to Crandor and got to Elvarg, and there was already someone in there fighting her. He ended up dying right in front of my eyes, which didn't help at all because I was already shaking and my fight hadn't even started yet. So after debating with myself for a good 30 minutes of whether I should back out and train my stats up or if I should just go for it, eventually I just said fuck it and went balls in. The epicness of this battle in my memory was like the equivalent of my battles with Nomad. So the fight went down as any other fight at first. Eat food when your HP is low, you know, yada yada. I was so tactical with this shit though that I lured her so I could hide behind stuff when I needed to eat and whatnot. It was pretty straightforward until Elvarg was getting low HP. For whatever reason, she kept spamming the fire breath move on me over and over, and I was getting owned. I was on about half HP, which was around 20 at the time, and I had no food left, and her fire breath attack hits up to around 10 damage max hit. At the same time, she was like 2 hits from dead. So at this point, I thought to myself, I'm screwed. I almost teleported out, but I'm sure I said something equivalent to YOLO back in the day because I'm super cool and everything, and just decided, fuck it, it's either you or me, let's do this shit. So she kept meleeing me, which was super lucky because her attacks kept missing, but at the same time, mine were missing as well. I was yelling so loud in my head, and I finally hit her. I knew she was 1 hit from dead, and my heart was racing. Then she used the fire attack and hit really high on me. I freaked out and ran behind a rock. I didn't think this through at all, because I realized that since I had to run up to her, a fire breath attack was inevitable. So pretty much I had to hit with this attack or I was dead. So I Leroy Jenkins that shit and went out and got hit really high again, but not high enough to kill me. And the RuneScape gods must have been looking out for me because I got my next hit off and killed the bitch. My heart was racing so fast that I cut the bitch's head off and took it to Oziak. Quest complete. And that's the story of how I became a man, or something along those lines. After finishing Dragon Slayer, I felt like I had beaten the game, and I didn't really know what to do next. So I just trained my combat and got to about level 60 and got bored with it around that time. It was at this point I decided it was time to become a member.